Let's get it. Subscribe to the channel. Y'all settle down, 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 settle down. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I go by the name of GODGOTHAM Game, and welcome back to the channel. The second channel.
Alright, y'all, look at the thunder. Y'all see the title. Today we got How to Beat Anime, and you know we finna get back onto this too, man. And it's how to beat the depth game in I can't say that. Tomodachi, or the Tomodachi. I think I said that right. Tomodachi game, or Tomodachi game. One of the two, man. So I'm here for it. I never saw this right here, so you already know. How your day been? Y'all been doing good? I've been doing slow, so you already know. Link up in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe. And them things up there too that I be putting up there. I got a TikTok. What can I say, bro? If you want to see some little clips of me with the TikTok thing, check that out too. So you already know. You know my slogan, I'm a slogan. I'm the greatest. I'm the worst.
Stuck in horrifying financial ruin? What would you do? The only way to escape crippling debt is to risk your life playing twisted games with brutal punishments.
Ew.
I'm here to break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat the debt games in Tomodachi game.
Tomodachi. Yeah, I said it right. Tomodachi game.
This honest kid is about to find out that hard work doesn't pay off. Yuichi here works tirelessly for a delivery company and other part-time jobs to pay for his school trip. And he finally makes enough cash to go on his dream trip. However, he's going to soon realize that it was all for nothing. The next day, the principal announces that 2 million yen that they all collected for their school trip has been stolen. Black-haired girl Shiho begs for forgiveness for losing the money, telling the class that someone had taken it from her locker. That night, Yuichi receives a letter from Shiho telling him to meet her outside of school as soon as possible. That's when he arrives at the entrance, seeing all of his friends waiting for him to fess up and tell them why he sent them all the same creepy letter asking them to meet up with him. The group realizes that someone else, not Yuichi, sent them all the same letter. Suddenly, the group is attacked and they black out. They wake up in a clear white room, only to be greeted by this creepy-looking mascot.
What is that?
He tells the group that they've been entered into a series of games.
That's a CG. That's a CG. That's CGI, ain't it? Look, nice.
Each game giving them 2 million yen if they win.
So he stole the thing. This dog stole it.
However, there's a catch. One of them has 20 million yen in debt that must be paid off. This glasses guy Tenji approaches the mascot and accuses him of illegally kidnapping them. But Manabu has a trick up his sleeve. He tells them that someone already paid for the entry fee of 2 million yen, the exact same amount that was stolen for the school trip. However, he gives them the option to quit if they want to, but whoever leaves has to pay the debt off by themselves.
Bloodline Heroes of Lithis is a
What? Well, I just go straight to the police, pretty much, and that's it. Yeah, that mean I go straight to the police.
visually stunning free-to-play mobile game set in a fantasy world full of adventure and deadly enemies. Find yourself trustworthy companions, completely customizable, and continue your bloodline. Birth new champions who will create new and powerful abilities that will suit your gameplay style. My favorite is the Kaguk, which are big, strong, and powerful. But what's your favorite? Challenge both AI and players online to battle the forces of darkness and cement your bloodline as the strongest in the world. The game is available on both iOS and Android, meaning anyone can join and go on epic adventures, like the ones our How to Beat Anime heroes have to suffer through on a weekly basis. Use my link and get a half Dragonborn, half Demigod hybrid heir for free.
And trust me when I tell you, my good weebs, these are very rare and 100%
Dangerous.
Download and try out the game now for free, and use my link and gift code in the description to get a special starter pack that is worth $20, 100 gold, and 100 diamonds. Use the promo code BLDHOL2 for all the naughty little goodies mentioned. Thank you, Bloodline Heroes of Lithis, for sponsoring this video.
Let's get it.
Now, back to the show.
Okay, this is clearly one of the most illegal things.
They call the police, man. I'm going straight to the cops.
Things I have ever witnessed. A group of high school students have just been blackmailed, kidnapped, and told that one of them has 20 million yen in debt. Now, there's a lot of different ways to handle this situation, and I say becoming violent seems like the easiest one. If I were these students, I would beat the ever-living crap out of Manabu here. This serves two purposes. One, we get revenge on him or whoever he works for, and potentially beating him down hard enough that he'll confess who the debt belongs to. However, in reality, that is a terrible idea. What we really need to do is to put on our Sherlock and figure out who has the 20 million yen in debt. The phrase whoever smelt it dealt it might be a good idea that we can use to narrow down our list of suspects. At the top of my list is black-haired girl and this glasses.
Yeah, she the first one come to my mind too. I ain't gonna hold you. She the first one. Nah, but the black-haired girl, she the first one came to mind to me.
Guy. Tenji with his glasses. Dudes with glasses are always the mysterious bloke.
No, dude with the glasses, they always the smart one. Well, yeah, they'll backstab you. They the one. Yeah, they the backstab ones.
But this black-haired girl might just be one of those innocent types that has a mysterious dark side when shit hits the fan. And we already know the deal with this dude. This kid's got some glasses guy energy.
Yeah, once they do stuff like this, that's a wrap, bro. You can't stop them. Their power is OP.
About him. And according to past animes, the dudes with glasses are usually bona fide perverts, am I right? However, I wouldn't try ganging up on him just yet. I would use some psychological trickery and over time, make them spit their dirty little secrets right into our ear holes. Manabu introduces them to a fake classroom and gives them name tags with a number on the other side. Each one shows them the 4 million debt they owe, and if they clear the
it could be him though.
Game, they'll be debt-free. However, they're not allowed to show the amount of debt or speak to other people during question time. If they do, the participant will have their fine doubled. Manabu shows them a demonstration of what happens when they all give the same correct answer. They must work together, or else one of them will be given a massive debt to pay. The mascot then gives them their first question. Is the tallest mountain in Japan Mount Fuji? Suddenly, the coin moves to
Bro, I don't even know. I'm gonna say no.
no, and they fail the first round. The second question
Yeah, I just got that wrong there.
is given as does 1 + 1 = 2, and
Is that a trick question? Is 1 + 1 is 2? Is it though? I want to say yes.
the coin moves to the wrong side and they fail once again. The third question is read out by Tenji.
So 1 + 1 is not 2. See, that's some tricks to this.
Who asks, is the country called Japan in English? The students
What? I'm just gonna say yes.
fail a third time to answer correctly, and Yuichi here begins to grow paranoid that someone is sabotaging the game on purpose. With only 2 questions remaining, they continue to get the questions wrong, and then the final part of game 1 begins. The shy girl Yutori is given the final question. She asks the group, will we always be friends? But before everybody can put their finger down on the coin and answer, Yuichi speaks out and
I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a no.
asks a rather naughty question, and is penalized by having his debt increased 2-fold. He tells the group that the answer is simple, just say yes. The students make up their mind and answer the final question by moving the coin on to the correct answer. The group has successfully cleared the game and wins 2 million yen. But Yuichi here is trapped and in even more debt than before. After the game, Yuichi and the black-haired girl Shio have a conversation about who the traitor is. He accuses her of stealing the money, but she denies having any involvement with what happened, and
Nah, she it. Cause look how she even blushing, bro. You know she it cause she got the blush things going on. And then look at the eyes. Don't fall for it. She did it.
and with this game. Okay, that was extremely close. Things could have gone wrong so quick, and somebody in this group has betrayed us. It could be one of them or all of them. The questions weren't given to test our knowledge. They were given to us to test our friendship. Getting into this situation was bad enough, but purposely trying to sabotage the group's success, well, that means somebody here is pretty dang evil. While we might not be able to catch the traitor this time around, we should be on the lookout for telltale signs of a liar in the next game. game. Now, things such as eye twitches and looking away when speaking shouldn't be used as 100% concrete proof that someone is lying. These aren't the facts, and there's going to be a strong punishment for whoever the traitor is. So we better get it right the first time. The only way to properly determine if something is a lie is through inconsistency. The two most suspicious people are Shiho and Shibe. Both of them.
See, I told you. Her and that dude with the yellow hair. They the sus one.
Announced that the class's money was missing. However, that isn't a surefire way to narrow down our list of suspects. It is a start though. If I was Yuichi, I'd be recalling every single interaction I've ever had with my classmates, from the very start of our friendship to before the game started. We should be looking out for any moments where our friends might have backstabbed us or done something suspicious. It might sound like a stretch right now, but with this we should be able to clue in to a potential suspect as long as we're sure of whatever past memory we can conjure up. The students are sent to a roof for the next game. Professor Manabu now introduces Game 2 by the name of Badmouth Sugoroku. Each participant must go into a booth and write a badmouth confession about another participant. Once the messages have been sent, viewers watching from the sky will rate which confession is the worst in order from first to last. The ranked confessions will determine how many spaces they move down the ladder from 1 space to 5. The first to reach the end will suffer a massive loss, but in doing so will give everyone 400,000 yen in reward. Anyone left on the board will be given an extra 1 million yen in debt, but then they have the option to be able to go home for a bit and skip the third game. If no one puts down a confession and leaves the card blank, everyone will move down 1 space together, and if they keep repeating the process of skipping the questions, they will all be able to clear the game in one piece, with a combined 2 million yen in reward. But if they make that choice, then they have to play the third game. Okay, now that we've experienced the glories of the first game, we need to prepare for any kind of weird crap that could happen next. If we really think about it and break down the game, 1, there seems to be an element of trust that is recurring throughout. Now, there's always the possibility that whoever stole the money is in cahoots with this money-sucking game. I'd be weighing my options out and assessing what's easier: win the game and move on to a third game, or take an increased amount of debt and be free. If I was Yuichi, the more tempting option would be to just take on more debt and lose the game on purpose. There's no reason to stick around, and no one can stop us from leaving this place once and for all. Heck, winning this game and moving on to the next looks like it involves jumping off of a building. I don't know about you, but that does not look like a good time to me. Other than attacking Manabu, however, there's only one other option that doesn't involve playing the game. We could just take a look around and see if there's any way that we can get back down this building. Assuming this building is in fact actually a building, and not just some set that someone cooked up for a sick, twisted game. If the building is real, there's many ways to safely descend down a building, and it requires more brains than brawn. The chain-linked fence is a perfect starting point to begin the descent.
Yeah, and you can use your clothes to use your clothes like to loop it, like make a little whatever, a little ladder, some type of ladder to climb down. It all depend on how tall, how high up, you know. But yeah, let's get it.
If this is a real building, they will only have to climb down a small bit to get down to the next window. And from then we could try to force our way in and make our way down to the ground floor and get away from this game for good. The first confessions are given out, and the group manages to work together as a team, moving only 1 space. Suddenly, a message appears above them, stating that they've been penalized 100,000 yen. They're shocked, and Manabu reveals that a different penalty is attached with each space. And that's when someone puts down a confession in the next round. Let the mind games begin. Shiho moves down 5 spaces while the others stay put. In the next round, 3 confessions are given out, with the black-haired girl taking the lead once again. The next round is set, and a confession is given out. Shy girl Yutori is mortified and is given 100% of the viewers' vote. Manabu reminds the group that whoever reaches the goal first will take on everyone else's debt. The game continues, and the next confession is read, and turns out glasses guy Tenji is lying about his age. He admits that the confession is a little harsh but true, and reveals that only Shiho should know about it, since they
How old is he?
were childhood friends. The results are decided with Shiho in first, Tenji in second. As of round 6, Shiho here is in first place with 18 spaces ahead, trashing the competition. That's when Shiho steps on a special space and is given a dangerous ability. She can pick anyone in the group to have all of their secrets exposed. Depending on how bad the secret is, the percentage of votes will determine how many steps they take. She decides to choose Shibe, and the mascot reveals that his lawyer father has been doing some nasty things after hours, and has been spending a lot of money to cover it all up. The The votes are then decided, and Shibei moves into second place with 17 spaces. However, Yuichi here has something up his sleeve. He puts down a confession into the booth that states Shibei has killed someone. They take a special vote, and 99% of the viewers believe that Shibei is a killer. Now Shibei is at first place with 22 spaces. Yuichi comforts him and assures that his buddy isn't a murderer. He tells the group to stop fighting amongst each other because there's only one bad egg in this nest, and he knows exactly who it is. However,
who is it? The only bad person. We gonna keep going.
However, he's not ready to reveal who it is just yet. Yuichi tells them that the game is extremely suspicious and unfair. No matter what they do, they'll be penalized and placed into even further debt. He reminds the group that round 6 was the first time they were given a debt reduction, and realizes that there are both negative and positive spaces. The negative spaces were loaded at the front to make the group lose trust in each other, while the positive spaces slowly increase in the second half to reveal that teamwork is essential. Okay, now we know that we've been tricked.
Teamwork make the dream work.
Again. However, this is on us. The game is literally called The Friends Game. Everything here happens for a reason, and this is something to keep in mind if we make it to Game 3. Whoever's controlling this game has stacked the odds against us, and all we need to do is to think carefully about our next step. Now, the hardest part of this game is to trust our teammates. The messages flying above us are there for the sole purpose of making us turn on each other. If I was Yuichi at this point, I'd let the game play out as normal without any more planning. We know that the distrust within the group is at an all-time high, and there's not much you can do to influence a bunch of hormonal teenagers, let's be honest. But who knows? Maybe we can lose the game and ask Shibei's evil lawyer father to put a few strings out and let us off the hook with all of this debt. Shibei's dad is pretty sleazy, but Shibei is our best buddy, right? And that means we could blackmail him with the information we now have, of course. It's been broadcasted on live stream, but we don't know who the hell is watching this shit, or how many viewers this illegal game even has. The next round, Manabu suddenly announces that there were 10 cards in the box. Tenji confronts Yuichi and tells him that his plan was doomed to fail from the start. Suddenly, he reveals another way to figure out who the traitor is once and for all, since Shiho is going to reach the end regardless. He tells everyone to write down the same confession. I'm the one who applied to the Tomodachi game. If they all write the same thing, the traitor will be the only one who is not going to be penalized. But everyone but the traitor will be moved one space above Shiho, allowing everyone but the traitor to reach the goal. The group agrees on this idea, and they all hand in their confession papers. When the papers are read out though, only one reads the phrase Yuichi mentioned. Tenji, shocked, he breaks down on the spot, and Yuichi demands that this creepy glasses guy finally reveal if he was the one who applied for this evil debt game. The broken man finally admits that he did it, and the traitor has been uncovered. But suddenly, out of the blue, Manabu interrupts to tell them all that Shiho is still going to be the only one moving on to Game 3. But Yuichi whispers to the mascot that he lied in round 7 and broke the rules. Suddenly, Manabu announces that the game is over and Yuichi is penalized by taking Shiho's place, and he's about to leave. But Tenji gets up and reveals that he also told a lie, and he joins Yuichi in the third game. The two wake up in a cave and are told to stay in there for 3 days. Yuichi finds a single bottle of water that is supposed to last them the entire time. Tenji reveals something shocking. This is his second time in the Tomodachi game. This kid is 20 million yen in debt, and Shiho is the reason for all of it. Okay, what did I say about...
I knew it was to do with the glasses, bro. It was to do with the glasses. I thought it was to do with the yellow hair. But like I said, it got between the glasses or the what you call it. It was one of them. I know my thing. I know him well.
About creepy glasses guy energy. But false crazy revelations aside, this situation is really bad, and we could die before this third game even begins. The average person can only survive without water for a few days at most. It wouldn't be so bad if it was just food, as we can survive for way longer without food. But water is something we must have.
Yeah, I gotta drink it like drink there, then another day, and then another day, like just know how to use it
regularly. And we've been without water for at least a day with the kidnapping and 2 previous games. This situation is life and death. However, it's really not that bad if we do a few simple key things. What I would do if I was them would be to take off all of my clothes. Hear me out now, I know it might be a bit awkward for the first few hours, but any extra layers of clothing will make us sweat more and cause us to lose precious resources within our body. This also goes hand in hand with doing absolutely no physical
I never knew that.
Activity. There's not much we can do inside a cave, so making sure we don't move around too much or accidentally argue amongst ourselves is the most important thing to our survival. Once that's settled, we can focus on conserving the resources we do have in order to stay alive and sorta healthy. We've been given a single bottle of water between the two of us, which is not ideal for staying hydrated. The human body needs at least 1.5 liters of water to stay properly hydrated. Assuming this bottle is 1.5 liters from the way it looks, we have about 750 milliliters for each of us. It's
Well, you basically like can almost survive with that for just 2 days. Basically, it's all depends. You can survive with that for like 2 days, the most, or 2.5.
not going to be pretty, but we can survive if we conserve our water and limit our physical activity. After 3 brutal days, the boys leave the cave to find themselves in front of now Sergeant Manabu. The mascot introduces them to their enemy team and the final game, friendly hide and seek. Both groups will choose one person to hide in the forest, and the seekers will need to find the hidden enemy. However, the seekers can switch sides if it looks like they're about to lose. Suddenly, Manabu tells the smaller group that one other person in an entirely different team made it also to game 3, and if they want, they can have this person join their team. Yuichi asks if it's a girl, and Manabu says yes, and Yuichi immediately accepts.
Look, when you see him hair like that lets you know he knows something.
The offer. That's when this bombshell of a girl, Maria, steps out and introduces herself to the others. Manabu continues with explaining the rules, telling them that violence is prohibited against the other team, and the hider cannot move once they picked a location. Surveillance cameras are all over the forest to make sure they don't break the rules. They've been given phones that they can use to contact either side if they want, and there's a big stash of food exposed in the middle of the forest for anyone who's brave enough to go and get it, if they're willing to risk getting caught. Last but not least, the hiders are handed a give-up grenade if they decide to call it quits and end the game as the loser. Okay, if I were the boys, I'd be using our new teammate as a complete guinea pig for our operation.
Thank you. That's the clue card. I'm like I said, bro. No, she gonna be the bait. Forget all that.
Friendly hide and seek is a game of wits, and using the person who's not starving is probably the better bet at winning the game. This is why this slim young thang is the perfect bait. She has no option but to take our advice if she wants to continue playing anyways. While it's not going to sound pretty, we should do our best to convince her that we're morally sound people, just so we can take advantage of her abilities. When we get the chance, by ourselves, we should ask Manabu, is violence against teammates prohibited? And if it isn't, that means we can do whatever we want to this new recruit. If it were me, I would have her appointed as the hider and instantly snatch the give-up grenade from her. We don't know her, we can't trust her, and also this girl, while cute and adorable, isn't really that innocent as she seems. No one in the Tomodachi game has made it here without stepping on a few toes and breaking a few hearts, and she doesn't seem any different. With the give-up grenade in our possession, we can tell her to hide wherever we please and know that the girl couldn't give up if she wanted to. Then, if we had to estimate, that would give us about 3 days to find the other hider before this girl goes crazy or dies from lack of food and water. But her sacrifice will be for our gain, thank you. So it's about as fair as you can get in anime, anyways. Yuichi decides that Tenji is going to hide in a small cave under the cliffside, making sure that the new girl doesn't know his location. 3 days pass, and Yuichi still hasn't returned to give him food and water. That night, Yuichi tells the opposing team that he wants to switch sides. The enemy team decides to let him in and call their captain to ask for permission to let him really join them. He tells them to not let Yuichi join their side. Instead, he asks the girl to change teams. But Yuichi decides to forget about changing teams, knowing that he has a plan up his sleeve. The morning after, half of the enemy team left to give their captain food. Yuichi has a heart-to-heart conversation with this spiky-haired blondie here, trying to make him suspicious of his buddies. This brown-haired kid interrupts to switch places, and Blondie walks over to Maria's bedside to find out that she's disappeared. Walking deeper into the forest, he finds the girl cleaning herself up in her underwear, and he freaks out and runs back to tell his buddy what just happened. But that's when Yuichi steals the food rations and runs off. The enemy team chases after them, and he decides to do something crazy. Yuichi pushes the new girl off of the cliff side, and she starts to fall to her death. But Blondie jumps in the nick of time to save her from dying. Yuichi then arrives at the cave and rushes in to save Tenji from near death. He explains that he was analyzing the team for the last few days and pushed Maria off the cliff like a madman to use her as a distraction. The Seekers.
I like that. Big brains.
meet back up at the food ration location, where tensions are high as hell. Yuichi eggs the enemy team on, causing the blonde guy to become violent. But that's when he realizes that he can use blonde guy's crush on Maria as a path to victory. Suddenly, the blonde guy requests to move to Yuichi's team and is instantly approved. That night, the new team member is tied up, and Maria here pretends to fear for his safety. She tries to find out more about the enemy captain, but he reveals that his old captain didn't even tell them where he was hiding. Shocked, Yuichi questions how he never found out the captain's location. But then Bullcut here calls him and reveals to Yuichi that he was the captain all along, and tells him that the blonde kid is a liability and resorts to violence easily. Okay, this might not have been the best idea. The blonde kid is a hot-headed individual, and that means we can easily lose this game by way of disqualification. However, we can use this to our advantage and figure out a way to win through the same method. Using mental mind games has been the key to our success throughout all 3 games, and this one isn't any different. If I was Yuichi, I would tie the kid up as soon as possible, and luckily the kid is firmly tied to this tree. I would start by gathering all the personal information I can about his ex-teammates and use that as a weapon. With this knowledge, I could leak out juicy details to the enemy team and try to rile them up enough so that him and his now opposing team get into a fight, because remember, violence against the opposing team is strictly prohibited and would instantly disqualify them if they're stupid enough to get violent. The next day, the enemy team shows up and tells them to stay put. Maria tells them that she's going for a toilet break and runs into Bullcut Kid. He confronts her about being planted by the game masters and demands that she betray Yuichi by giving her an offer that she cannot refuse. Moments later, she calls her teammate to ask about Tenji's hiding spot. Suddenly, Yuichi spots her, revealing all their information to the enemy team. The Bullcut Kid calls Tenji and tells him that Yuichi is willing to let his teammate die if it gives him the win. Tenji screams out that he's lying, and the new captain reveals that he's right above him. Manabu orders everyone to meet up so he can announce winner. The winner of the 3rd and final game is Yuichi's group. Everyone is shocked, and the fake captain admits that he pressed the give up button before the game ended. Yuichi came up with a genius plan. He called the fake captain and threatened to break his buddy's fingers if he didn't give up. With that, the group wins 2 million yen, and the 3rd game is over. However, they're going to realize that the Tomodachi game isn't over just yet. The boys decide to head straight to school and find Shiho. Entering the classroom, they see their old teammate Yutori, who tells them that the others have disappeared. She tells them that the confessions from the 2nd game were broadcasted to the entire world, and Shibei's father is in big trouble. That night, the boys discuss what to do about the current situation. A mystery number calls Tenji and asks if his genius buddy is with him. The caller displays a photo of Yutori tied up and tells them to meet him in an abandoned warehouse, or she'll be seriously hurt. Okay, no. I say skip that. The best way of going about this situation would be to leave her butt with the sharks. Everyone
I'm saying, man, like, yeah, man, just forget that. Forget it.
in our group seems to be a damn evil piece of crap, and this game is causing us more trouble than we could have ever imagined. If I were the boys, I'd call it a day. We've just been through 3 grueling games together and had the hardest route through the game compared to others. It's not our job to be the local police, and we should probably just go back to school and hit the books like a normal Japanese teenager. That being said, though, nearly 100 children have been kidnapped from 2021 to 2022 in the country of Japan. These crimes have been increasing at a constant rate, and the police should be aware that a high school student has gone completely missing. We should agree to come to wherever this mysterious person wants to take us. Once he gives us the location, we'll then call the police and tell them where they're at. It's a win-win situation. We don't have to get our hands dirty and potentially risk our lives for the slim chance of success. And the police won't be knocking on our doors if we end up getting Yatori here killed. Yuichi arrives at the destined location, only to be confronted by a group of thugs. This white-haired man, Kuroki, introduces himself as the MC of the next game, the Weak
So he behind it all.
Will game. Yuichi here isn't allowed to talk or move and will be forced to go through 3 rounds of pain. If he can pass them all, he'll let him and Yutori go free. However, Yutori here can volunteer to take some of the damage as well if she's feeling oh so noble. Kuroki introduces this massive beefcake bodybuilder friend and gives the option for Yuichi to take 3 hits or for Yutori to take 1. She doesn't say anything in time, and the punishment automatically goes to Yuichi.
Man, you crazy, bro. I let her take, hey, yo, say what you want, man. I'm a high school student. She finna take all them hits, bro. Just saying. It's anime, bro. She's taking every hit.
The MC introduces the next round, called Fingernail Removal, and gives them 2 options once again. Yutori can have 1 fingernail removed, or Yuichi can have 3 ripped off. And Yuichi steps up to the challenge.
Bro, man, stop, bro. Let her take some hits. Let her take some L's, man.
And is given the brutal punishment. The third and final round is the most sadistic one yet. Yutori has the option of exotically stripping down and being ogled at by all the guys. Or Yuichi can have his hand gouged out instead. He decides to take the...
Yeah, see, in this one, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, I'm just saying, I'm not gonna have my hand, bro. Y'all can see what you want, bro.
Punishment, and has his hand brutally disfigured by the MC. Yutori begs for forgiveness and apologizes for not taking any of the pain and patches up his hand. He forgives the girl and turns over to the MC, offering to play one final game, rock, paper, scissors. If Kuroki wins, Yuichi will hand over 10 million yen in cash, but if he loses, Yuichi gets to cut off a certain number of fingers depending on which hand he threw. He convinces Kuroki's lackey to agree with his offer by handing out 1 million to each person if their leader wins. Not only that, with his wrapped up hand, Yuichi can only throw rock or paper. On the count of 3, they throw down.
Hey, that's smart though.
And the MC realizes he made a big mistake.
He probably choose scissors.
Yuichi throws scissors with his other hand and wins the game. Okay, that was a total clutch move, and technically means that he wins him the game. We're not exactly dealing with morally sound people here. These guys are thugs through and through, meaning they're ready to do whatever it takes to get at us. They've already kidnapped our friend here, so there's likely no way they won't cross the line when it comes to harming us. However, the key word is us. In a life or death situation, there's only one person I care about, and that's myself. While we might have convinced his lackeys to egg their leader on and play my game, there's no telling what the reaction could be once I win through semi-alleged cheating. Just because it makes sense in a technical way doesn't mean these thugs won't just technically beat my ass for trying to pull a fast one. There's nothing stopping us from leaving this dirty warehouse and our ragtag group of friends behind. We will be living stress-free for the rest of our lives and get out of this shit show with a few little bumps and bruises. Furious, Kuroki tells his thugs to grab the kid and teach him a lesson. That's when the Tomodachi game management bursts inside and restrains all of the thugs. The managers tell Kuroki that he's in trouble for impersonating Manabu, but Yuichi here isn't done with him yet. He tells the managers to lay off for a second and says that he must collect his prize, and gives Kuroki an option for which fingers he wants to cut off. Suddenly, he passes out on the spot, and the managers take him away for emergency medical aid. They're not gonna let their best product die this easily. The new girl Maria offers the remaining participants a brand new game to save Shibe. However, if they lose, they'll be given 500 million yen in debt. Yuichi wakes up to encourage the others to keep on going. All the while, he chills in the hospital scot-free.
And if you don't want scot,
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, man, I love watching some How to Beat some anime, bro. Like, some things I know, but you already know. Leave a bit of subscription, like, subscribe,